The term beatnik comes from a reporter who put together the word beat and Sputnik. Most assume he was trying to call the Beat generation communist. Most beatniks had grown up during the Great Depression. They experienced the extreme poverty of that decade, World War II, and the rise of communism. Beatnik culture started in Greenwich Village in New York, but spread to North Beach and Venice West in California. It had strongholds in places where artists would congregate, like coffee houses, cellar night houses, and espresso shops. Beatniks valued personal release, purification, and illumination. They valued education and intellectualism. It was important to better your inner self. They did a lot of drugs and talked about sex openly. Many also participated in Eastern religions like Buddhism. Beatniks said words like cool, crazy, dig, like, groovy, square, cat, daddy-o, chicks, Dixie, snazzy, pad, and the scene. In media, beatniks were portrayed as silly and unserious. In New York, you could hire a beatnik for a party. A random would come and read poetry. There were Build-A-Beatnik kits sold. They were known for not liking work, having facial hair, having long, loose hair, wearing sunglasses, berets, black clothing, turtlenecks, and playing the bongos.
Now, back to the Bullwinkle Show.
And here, with his bird's eye view and a brain to match, is Mr. Know-It-All.
Our subject for today is how to be a beatnik. Some people think the beatnik is merely a bum with sunglasses, but he is more than that. Though not much. The first step in becoming a beatnik is to grow a beard. This can be a long process, particularly if you're a girl. Clothing-wise, we should remember this important rule. The well-dressed beatnik is seldom neatnik. Beatniks hang out in employment lines, health food stores, but most of all in coffee houses. Beatnik joints have lots of atmosphere, but it's usually too dark. Beatnik is often fond of reading poetry to jazz. Thusly, Mary had a swinging lamb. He followed her to school. She hocked his wool for a bongo drum, and man, that lamb was cool.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
And now for an encore.
Beatniks were largely influenced by jazz. Many beat poets attempted to mimic bebop and cool jazz by having their poetry have a similar rhythmic feeling and flow to jazz. Many call them the precursor to hippies and the sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s. They were among the first to challenge American values in materialism. They paved the way for future counterculture movement. The 1950s was characterized by the Cold War, the economic boom, and general prosperity. People were buying things like appliances, cars, and televisions, trying to maintain images and build up the traditional nuclear family. It was a time of conformity when everyone was trying to get back to pre-war American society by observing strict gender roles and going with the grain of society. Beatniks truly rebelled against this, making it a point to not conform. Women would wear their hair long and unstyled. They wore dark clothing, did not participate in Western religion, and did drugs.
Had I been high schooler in the 50s, it would have been something that influenced my life. That I like how they ran counter to America post World War II with the rise of the baby boomers. I see it as an extension of jazz, the precursor of hip hop. And I think my favorite book of all time, Catcher in the Rye, although probably not technically in that genre, the tone and the attitude of it is probably why I resonate with it. So we need more beatniks. You don't have to be, I think people think of them as morphing into the hippies, and I don't think that's necessarily a straight line, but anybody who offers a different approach to how grown-ups or adults or people look at the world is somebody worth listening to and worth reading. So perhaps I should, and everyone else should read a few more.